Morning, dear friends. Welcome back to the second session of virtual classes for the day. I'm pleased to see that the students of post-graduation level also taking interest in the Vidya project that we are running with the high ambitions, and of course this is innovative, this is ambitious, this is something like interactive too, because you're going to ask questions at the end of the lesson. You're allowed to ask question anytime you like, you simply raise your hand and you can call from your end. That is the learning end, right? Today we have with us Mrs. Deepa S. Kumar. She is from College for Excellence, that is Center for Excellence in Bhopal, and she would be taking a lecture on Solitary Reaper, a very interesting poem written by William Wordsworth. So without creating any delay, I request Madam S. Kumar to start taking the lecture, and I appeal to all of you that wherever you are, whenever you are convenient, you can log on to our website of higher education also, where the lectures are available. So kindly make use of the facility that we are providing you to its maximum, and get ready for examinations which are right on top of your head now. Wish you all the very best, and now it's over to Mrs. Deepa S. Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Welcome to this virtual class in English. Today's topic is Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth. Now, who was Wordsworth? As I've already mentioned, his full name was William Wordsworth. He was a prolific writer, a writer who had penned several works, who has several books to his credit, and he had a very long poetic career which spanned for almost 60 years. Just as the Hindi literature, हिंदी साहित्य जिस प्रकार विभिन्न कालखंडों में विभाजित है, उसी प्रकार इंग्लिश लिटरेचर भी विभिन्न कालखंडों में विभाजित है. So one of the period of literature is the Romantic Age, to which William Wordsworth belonged. Now, what was the time period of the Romantic Age? I have mentioned it is 1785 to 1830. So this is the Romantic Age, and William Wordsworth was he was a poet of eminence of the Romantic Age. His well-known works, I have already mentioned that he was a prolific writer, a prolific poet, yes, and he had several works to his credit. Some of the major works, well-known works, are mentioned here. They are The Prelude, Michael, Tintinabe, the Lucy Poems, The Daffodils, Immortality Ode, Laodamia, Dion. These were the most important, well-acclaimed, far-famed works of Wordsworth. Now, Wordsworth was well-known, widely acclaimed as the high priest of nature. उनको प्रकृति का पुजारी कहा जाता था. Why? Because he used to worship nature. He used to glorify nature in his poetry. He had an intense passion for nature. असीम प्रेम था नेचर के प्रति, और he spiritualized nature. एक आध्यात्मिक स्वरूप की अनुभूति भी उनको प्रकृति में हुआ. So he spiritualized nature, he saw a divinity in nature, and he experienced the presence of a spirit in nature. He realized that spirit in nature activates, pulsates in every object of this world. So nature, every object of nature was perceived as a sentient being, एक संवेदी प्राणी का दर्जा नेचर को, और नेचर के जितने भी वस्तु हैं, हर वस्तु नेचर का जो प्रकृति का जो हर वस्तु जो है वो एक संवेदी प्राणी का दर्जा उन्होंने दिया. So he believed that the same spirit, it permeates the entire universe. Every object of nature is pulsating, is is breathing with that spirit. So he believed in the oneness of all. So obviously the spirit which animates, which is immanent in every object of nature, is the same. That is his perception. That was his perception, and it was quite reminiscent. मतलब हमारे जो भारतीय दर्शन में भी अद्वैत की जो डॉक्ट्रिन है, जो फिलॉसफी है, उसको हम सब भली भांति जानते हैं. तो उनका जो अद्वैत की जो फिलॉसफी थी, उसका नाम था पैंथिज्म. व्हाट इज पैंथिज्म? Pantheism means the basic oneness of all, the presence of the same spirit in every object of nature. So हर प्राणी, हर वस्तु, प्रकृति, सब एक ही आत्मा, सब में एक ही आत्मा विद्यमान है. And so he preached about the basic oneness of all. So pantheism is the most important philosophy, yes, of Wordsworth. Now coming on to the poem, The Solitary Reaper. Now what do you mean by solitary? Solitary means alone, and a reaper. Reaper किसको कहते हैं? जो फसल काटते हैं उनको कहते हैं reaper. Now this poem, it was published in 1807. 1807 में ये प्रकाशित हुआ. एक संग्रह था जिसका नाम था Memories of a Tour in Scotland. There was a collection of poems, and this particular poem, it featured in this collection. तो इस संग्रह में मेमोरी जो जिसका नाम था Memories of a Tour in England in Scotland, तो इस संग्रह में ही इसका भी प्रकाश, ये जो कविता है ये प्रकाशित हुआ. विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ अपनी बहन डोरथी से काफी प्रभावित थे. तो हम उनका काव्य लेखन में भी ये प्रभाव काफी prominent है. Now they had taken his sister and Wordsworth along with his sister, they toured Scotland. Scotland एक जगह है जो कि इंग्लैंड के उत्तरी भाग में स्थित है. Now I would like to tell you one thing more. What is this UK, United Kingdom? It is a sovereign state. UK जो हम लोग कहते हैं, UK जो है, it is actually a group of 4 countries in which England, Scotland, Wales, ये तीनों countries, it is situated in the island of Great Britain. And Northern Ireland is also, it is based in the island of Northern Ireland. So UK constitutes of the four countries, that is England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales. जो स्कॉटलैंड के निवासी है उनको स्कॉट कहा जाता है, जो इंग्लैंड के निवासी है उनको इंग्लिश कहा जाता है, जो वेल्स के निवासी है उनको वेल्श कहा जाता है, और जो आयरलैंड के निवासी है उनको आयरिश कहा जाता है. सो डोरथी मतलब वर्ड्सवर्थ की सिस्टर और वर्ड्सवर्थ दोनों स्कॉटलैंड जाते हैं. कब जाते हैं? they both toured to Scotland in 1803. Now what did they see? This particular poem, the poet was inspired to write after the sight of a highland girl. What is a highland? Highland पहाड़ी एरिया को कहते हैं. And there he saw a girl who was reaping alone. अकेली खड़ी वो फसल काट रही थी और फसल काटते काटते गा भी रही थी. So she was singing while reaping the harvest. And this sight of the highland girl, yes, inspired him to write this poem. So solitary means alone. Solitary से मतलब है अकेले. And reaper means one who cuts and binds sheaves of corn. So she is standing in a field of corn. There she is reaping the harvest, and she is also singing. Now we start with the poem. I have taken the first quatrain. What is the quatrain? A group of 4 lines. Yes, a group of 4 lines of verse is called a quatrain. 4 पंक्तियां हैं. सबसे पहली 4 पंक्तियां देखिए आप. इसमें हमने आपको दिखाया है मॉनिटर पे. Behold her, अब राइटर कह रहे देखिए, देखो, किसको कह रहे हैं? Whom is he asking to behold? Behold means to see. So whom is he asking to see? He is asking perhaps to an imaginary passerby. He also is addressing the readers. Yes, so he is asking a passerby, an imaginary passerby, एक काल्पनिक राहगीर से उनसे कह रहे हैं कि देखिए, behold her. What is she doing? She's single in the field. This, ये जो शब्द है single, it is suggestive of the solitude, the solitudeness of the place, the desolation of the place. It is vast, and the whole field, that is the only girl. She is alone in that profound valley. Profound means the wide and deep valley. There are fields of corn, and she is standing all alone in the field. She is working. What is she working? She's working at, she is collecting the harvest. She's cutting and binding the corns. Behold her single in the field. Yon. Yon means that. Solitary highland lass. Yes. So that girl, that particular girl, yes, who is standing all alone in the field, and she is cutting and binding the crops. Yon solitary. Solitary again means alone. Highland. Highland means pahad. Yes, lass. Lass is actually the Scottish term for English. Scottish भाषा में, Scottish English में girl is called a lass. So behold her single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself. What is she doing? She is cutting and collecting the crops. She is reaping, she is collecting, she is collecting the harvest, and she is singing by herself. Singing by herself means she is unmindful of who is watching her. She is totally unaware of the surroundings. Yes, so unmindful of her surroundings, she is so absorbed in her singing. That is singing by herself. Stop here. So the writer asks the passerby to stop. Why does he ask him to stop? He wants the passerby to listen to her song very attentively. है ना? बहुत ही rapt attention में. He wants the reader, he wants the passerby to listen to the song attentively. Now, how you will ask me how the reader can listen to the song? The writer is able to, he appreciates the beauty of the girl's song so much that the reader starts experiencing the melody in his imaginative soul, in his imaginative world. He is able to hear the melody of the song. So he asks the passerby to either stop. He wants him to stop. Why? Because he must listen to the melodious singing of the girl with rapt attention, or gently pass. Now, what do you mean by gently pass? वो कहते हैं राहगीर से कि या तो सुनो, उसकी जो मधुर ध्वनियों को सुनो, या फिर वहां से चुपचाप निकल जाए, ताकि he doesn't disturb the girl, because if she becomes conscious of the presence of listeners, yes, the charm of the song will get disrupted. Why? She will become conscious, and when she becomes conscious, that flow, that spontaneity singing would be disturbed, it would be interrupted or disrupted. So he wants that the passerby should not disturb her. He wants that the song of the girl, it goes on spontaneously, uninterrupted, undisturbed. I hope it is clear to you. We move to the next quatrain. Alone she cuts and binds the grain. Alone. Now, alone again is suggestive. ये जो शब्द है, alone, single, solitary, they keep recurring to suggest the the expanseness of the place, the desolation of the place in which she is standing all alone, right? And she is doing her job, yes, and also singing to her heart's content. Alone she cuts and binds the grain, yes. Binds the grain means वो जो फसल काट रही वो इकट्ठा करती जा रही and sings a melancholy strain. Now what is the melancholy strain? Yes, the writer so captivated by the enchanting melody of her singing that now he feels a sad tone also in her singing, because the sad songs are the sweetest and they appeal as the most. So the writer, he finds a song all the more melodious because there is a melancholic strain. एक sad tone है उनकी ध्वनियों में, मधुर ध्वनियों में. Then he says, oh listen for the wail profound. Now again he draws the attention of the imaginary passerby, and he wants him to listen more attentively. Why? He wants to observe, he wants to experience that the melodious notes which the girl is singing, it is echoing, it is filling the whole valley with the melodious notes. Veil profound se taatparya hai wide and deep secluded valley. It is a very secluded valley. You don't find any people there. Yes, it is a very calm and very tranquil, very secluded valley, and in that she is singing, and that singing, her melodious song, it is echoing, it is filling, yes, every object in that valley. It is suffusing with melodious notes, yes, in the entire valley. So it is filling the entire valley with melodious notes, and it is suffusing every object of nature with that melodious notes. Yes, so he gives a very pictorial description of the place, that it is a very profound valley, it is deep, and it is a wide, secluded valley. The girl is alone and she sings to her heart's content, and the melodious notes that is reverberating, resounding, echoing in that valley makes the place very enchanting and very, very, very enjoyable and very, very beautiful. So I hope this quatrain is clear. Next we move to the next stanza. Here, taking it further, he takes, extending, he takes his appreciation for the girl's song further. And here he compares his singing, her singing, with that of Nightingale. He says that the girl's song, it excels the melody of Nightingale. Now Nightingale is supposed to be a singing bird, and that bird sings very melodiously, and especially it is seen in warmer climates. And there is a mention, more welcome notes to varied hands. Before that, let me explain the first a little more. No nightingale did ever chant. Chant means to sing passionately. Yes, to sing melodiously, to sing so devotedly. So she has been singing from the core of her heart. Nightingale also is known to sing from the core of its heart. It sings so melodiously. So, but the girl's song excels that of Nightingale. Nightingale, she welcomes the tired travelers who arrive at the Arabian deserts after the day-long journey. They return to their, when they reach the deserts, they seek for oasis. They look for oasis. रेगिस्तान है और वहाँ पर ऐसे जो वेजिटेशन के जो पैच है, so the tired travelers, when they return in the evening, they look for oasis where they can rest for a while. So when they seek for oasis, when they seek for shady ponds in the deserts, Nightingale welcomes them. She refreshes them. She soothes them with her melodious notes. The same way, and in a much better way, this girl, this solitary reaper, she enchants, yes, the passers-by with her melodious singing. So the girl's song is much more, it is much more superior, and the girl, she excels in singing. She excels the nightingale in singing. So इसका ये मतलब है, no nightingale did ever stand more welcome notes to weary bands of travelers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. So she has excelled the nightingale in her singing. She has been refreshing and soothing all the passerbys who have gone that way. Next quatrain we come. Sorry. A voice so thrilling never was heard. So Wordsworth makes use of similes. Simile is a kind of figure of speech. Simile जो है एक तरह का अलंकार है, and here he makes use of two similes. First he compares her with the nightingale, and he finds that she excels even the nightingale. Next he compares her with cuckoo. Yes, cuckoo is also a bird, and it sings during the springtime. So a voice so thrilling. What do you mean by thrilling? Thrilling means full of shrill notes, piercing, touching. Yes, such melodious notes which will captivate the listener. Yes, so thrilling never was heard. So the girl's song is much, much more thrilling and melodious than the song of the cuckoo bird. Now, cuckoo bird, I've already told that it is a bird which sings during the springtime. Spring, so it is a season of plenty, it is a season of joy, it is a season of happiness. So cuckoo is a bird which sings during the springtime, and he tells us to highlight the melody of the cuckoo bird. Yes, he tells, break the silence of the seas among the farthest of tides. Now, cuckoo is during the springtime, and it is heard in the silence of the sea. Silence of the sea मतलब समुद्र के जो लहरें उठती हैं उसके बीच में हमें कुकू की आवाज जो है बड़ी सुहावनी लगती है. It is very melodious to hear the melodious singing of the cuckoo bird in the silence of the sea. हाँ, कौन से समय? Among the farthest Hebrides. अब farthest से तात्पर्य है दूरस्थ. दूरस्थ means very remote. And why it is called remotest? I will tell you. Hebrides is a group of islands. A group of islands in the northwest of Scotland, and it is considered to be the northern limits of the world. मतलब क्या है कि उस हेब्राइड जो है वो उत्तरीय छोर माना जाता है विश्व का. So it is considered to be the northern limits of the world. And the seas, the silence of the sea, it is broken by the singing of the cuckoo bird. So melodious and so enchanting the island becomes with the melodious notes of the cuckoo. And this girl's song is more melodious than that of the cuckoo bird. Very refreshing, very regaling. It gives the experience of a springtime. The third stanza. Will no one tell me what she sings? The writer, will no one. He is unable to understand the language of the song. Now, this is a technique by which the writer, he wants to further highlight, he wants to further strengthen his point that the song of the girl is so beautiful. He got absorbed in the melody of the song, but then he is unable to understand what language she is singing. He is not able to decipher, he is not able to understand, he is not able to comprehend the subject or the theme of the song. So the language is so incomprehensible that that he is not able to understand the subject and the theme of the song. So he wants the passerby, he wants somebody to interpret the subject of the song. वो चाहते हैं कि ये किस विषय में ये गा रही है, इस विषय का वो अनुमान नहीं लगा पा रहे हैं क्योंकि she finds her language ununderstandable. Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow. So now he is desperate to know the theme, the subject of the poem and so, of the song, and so he decides to guess. वो कैसे अनुमान लगाते हैं? क्या लगाते हैं अनुमान? The plaintive numbers flow. ये निश्चित हो जाता है that she is singing about sad songs. Sad songs of what? Sad songs about what? Yes, for old unhappy far of things. कुछ बुरी बिसरी यादों की बात। Yes, she is recollecting some happenings of the old unhappy. Old means which have happened in the past. Unhappy, they are sad, far of things. Far forgotten. भूली जा रहे हैं उसी चीज को शायद वो फिर से उसको गा रही है. And battles long ago. So either she is singing about old happenings, unhappy happenings, happenings of the distant past, or she is singing about the battles. ऐसे युद्ध जो परदेश विदेश में छिड़े गए थे, लड़े गए थे, and battles long ago, which have been forgotten, but which have been described in the ancient Scottish ballet poetry. So she is again singing those songs which celebrate the exploits of the battles which had been fought in the distant past. Next quatrain he says, or is it some more humbly? क्या वो या तो वो पुरानी बातों के बारे में सोच के गा रही हैं या फिर वर्तमान हर दैनिक जो समस्याएं हैं, दैनिक जो बातें हैं उसके बारे में गा रही है. और इज इट सम मोर हम्बल ले से मतलब है द हम्बल इंसिडेंट्स ऑफ एवरीडे, दैनिक जो समस्याएं हैं, जो घटनाएं हैं, उनके बारे में वो शायद गा रही हैं. फेमिलियर मैटर ऑफ टुडे, इसलिए दैनिक जो घटनाएं हैं उन सब से सभी व्यक्ति, हर इंसान जो है वो परिचित है. सो दे आर वेरी वेरी फेमिलियर मैटर्स ऑफ टुडे, दे आर वेरी नोन मैटर्स which everybody is aware, which everybody is knowing. Some natural sorrow, loss or pain, और या फिर it is some natural sorrows, जो दैनिक समस्याएं हैं जो which cannot be avoided, जिसका निराकरण कुछ नहीं है, जिसका सामना हर व्यक्ति को करना पड़ता है, चाहे वो किसी प्रकार का लॉस हो या किसी प्रकार का दुख हो. जो हम लोग दैनिक जीवन में जो समस्याएं हैं, जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, जो हम फेस कर रहे हैं, perhaps she is singing about them that has been and may be again. So ये वो ऐसी घटनाएं हैं जो हरदम होती रही हैं और जो हरदम होती रहेंगी. So the subject, so in this particular ये जो third stanza है, will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old unhappy far off things and battles long ago. And this quatrain, or is it some more humble lay, familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been and may be again. So in these lines, the writer is trying to decide the subject, trying to interpret the subject, the theme of the song which the girl is singing. She is all alone in the highland. She is cutting the sheaves of corn and she is singing. The next para is, whatever the theme the maiden sang. Ab whatever से तात्पर्य है that irrespective of the subject that she is singing. Maiden means अविवाहित नवयुवती को maiden कहते हैं. She is an unmarried girl. So whatever the theme of the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending, he finds her song so enchanting and so captivating that he feels that he has enshrined her melodious song in his imagination. It has no ending. It has cast such a spell on the poet. एक अमिट छाप उस संगीत स्वर लहरियों से वो मतलब इतना प्रभावित है कवि कि वो कहते हैं कि he feels that there is no ending to that song. Why it will never end? Because it has got treasured in his imagination, and he will be able to recollect. He will be able to recollect and rehear, yes, her song, yes, even when he has left that place. I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. So again he says, I saw her singing at her work. वो अपने कार्य में बिल्कुल मग्न हैं और मग्न होने के बाद भी इतनी मधुर लहरियां गा रही है. So and over the sickle, वो किससे काट रही है फसल? सिकल, हसिया से काटती जा रही है और गाती जा रही है और बड़े मधुर ध्वनि जो है उसकी उस पूरे वैली में गूंज उठते हैं. So I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. And lastly he says, I listened. Listen से मतलब that he kept on hearing. He kept on hearing the melody of that song with rapt attention. He heard her song with such rapt attention that motionless and still, he stood there without moving. He was so absorbed in the melodious notes of her song that he was transfixed. बिल्कुल अटल अचल खड़े रहे वहां. Yes, motionless and still. And as I mounted up the hill से तात्पर्य है जैसे जैसे पोएट वहां से निकल रहे थे, वहां से हट रहे थे, उस पहाड़ी से दूर जा रहे थे, the music in my heart I bore. He could still listen that song. How could he listen? He could sing with his listen with his imaginary ears. It was enshrined in his imagination, and he says that I could recollect after having left that place. I could still recollect the beauty, the melody of her song. Yes, and he drew solace. He drew solace and comfort in his most pensive hours. Yes, तन्हाई की घड़ियों में वो याद करते थे और उससे काफी उनको शक्ति मिलती थी. The music in my heart I bore long after it was heard no more. तो वहां से जाने के बाद भी कई साल बाद भी उनके कानों में उस नवयुवती का जो स्वर लहरियां हैं गूंजती रहती है. एंड इट हैज बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ हिज imagination. He can recollect the melodious notes of that girl's song with such vividity. It keeps resounding in his ears. So this is the song. So what is the central idea of the poem? In this, आपने यदि देखा है कि फर्स्ट क्वार्ट्रेन में यदि हम देखते हैं, इसमें देखिए सिंगल, सॉलिटरी, यस, देन नेक्स्ट अलोन, है ना. ये तमाम शब्द जो हैं, इट इज सजेस्टिव ऑफ द थीम ऑफ सॉलिट्यूड. रोमांटिक पोइट्री की एक फीचर है, इट डिस्क्राइब्स द सॉलिट्यूडनेस. सॉलिट्यूडनेस में जो है मतलब सॉलिट्यूड से तात्पर्य यह है कि जो प्रकृति का जो एहसास हम कर सकते हैं वो अपनी तन्हाई में ज्यादा एहसास करते हैं और प्रकृति के करीब हम ज्यादा अपने आप को महसूस अपनी तन्हाई में ही कर सकते हैं. सो वी आर एबल टू एक्सपीरियंस द जॉय ऑफ नेचर इन आवर सॉलिट्यूड. इन मोमेंट्स ऑफ सॉलिट्यूड्स, यू नो, वी कैन सीक the company of nature. So the theme of solitude में ये एक बात और है कि the girl she represents, she suggests about the solitude of this life. An individual, a man in his hard toil, अपने जीवन के जो संघर्ष है, संघर्ष में वो तन्हा है. He is alone in the struggle of his life. So the theme of solitude, it is the recurrent theme in the poem. Next is the communion between man and nature. Man and nature बहुत करीब है, यहाँ तक कि उन्होंने ये कहा कि man and nature they are one. So he says poet's love for nature is, ये जो कविता है, it expresses the poet's love for nature. He tells us how the girl's voice is the voice of the land. It is the voice of the toiling humanity. Yes, the nightingale is the voice of hope. Yes, she is the voice of hope to the tired travelers in the journey of life. In the same way, cuckoo is the voice of spring. Spring is the time for happiness. The girl represents the indomitable spirit that man must develop in this world to overcome the fret and fever of the world, the trials and tribulations of the world. तो ये जीवन के जितनी भी संघर्ष और समस्याएं हैं, उससे उभरना है तो इंसान को अपनी आत्मिक शक्ति को बढ़ाना है. और नेचर, प्रकृति जो है वो बहुत ही एक सपोर्ट है इंसान के लिए, और प्रकृति के शरण में हमें रहना चाहिए. प्रकृति से हमें सारा जो ऊर्जा है हमें उसी से प्राप्त किया जा सकता है, so that we can overcome the problems of this world. Romantic imagination, and of course romantic imagination से हमने आपको पहले भी बताया था कि romantic features क्या है. Freedom of personal expression, freedom of imaginative expression, और इसमें romantic elements भरपूर हैं. जैसे इसमें एडवेंचर भी है, देखिए बैटल्स एंड वॉयजेस के बारे में लिखा है. इट इज ऑल अबाउट द इंडिविजुअल्स एक्सपीरियंस, yes, the imaginative experience, the imaginative expression, and of course the role of nature in the life of man. Note of melancholy, it is full of melancholy, sad notes. Yes, the sweetest songs are those which sing of our sadness. The power of music, and आखिरी में power of music. Music में ऐसे एक शक्ति है जो which soothes us, जो हमारे हर समस्याओं का हल कर सकती है. तो nature and art and nature, it alone can, yes, bring happiness and joy to man in this sordid life, in this world which is full of trials and tribulations. So ये है central idea. अब हम आपसे कुछ प्रश्न करेंगे, आप इसको जरा आंसर करने की कोशिश करेंगे. What is the time period of romantic age? रोमांटिक एज का क्या पीरियड बताया था हमने? कोई बताएगा? Yes. What is the time period of romantic age? हमने आपको कहा था कि साहित्य जो है कालखंडों में विभाजित है. बेटा कौन करेगा, बताइए, कोई जवाब दीजिए. What? चलिए जवाब दीजिए. What is the time period of romantic age? कौन बोलेगा? चलिए जल्दी बोलिए, टाइम निकल रहा है. 1785 to 1830. What is pantheism? पैंथिज्म से क्या तात्पर्य है? चलिए कोशिश करिए. Pantheism is about what is it all about? किसके बारे में है pantheism? चलिए, what is pantheism? कौन बताएगा? What is pantheism? Pantheism is about the oneness of
Hello.
all.
The answer is soul. Hello, ma'am.
हाँ,
The answer is soul. The answer is soul.
क्या?
Solo, please.
कहाँ से बोल रहे हैं आप?
नेपानगर, madam.
नेपानगर से.
The answer is soul, madam. Please.
Answer is soul.
Yes.
No, that is not the answer. What do you mean by this? बताइए. What is pantheism? Yes? Pantheism, I said, जो अद्वैत दर्शन है हमारे भारतीय दर्शन में, अद्वैत के जो फिलॉसफी है उससे उसी के समान है. पैंथिज्म मीन्स वननेस ऑफ ऑल. सभी में एक ही आत्मा विद्यमान है, इसी से यह तात्पर्य है ना. So when was the poem Solitary Reaper published?
1807.
1807. Very good. Thank you. Sit down. अब कोई और बताएं. What is the Scottish name for a girl?
Lass.
अरे कोई और भी बताए बच्चे, आप लोग भी बताएं, दूसरे बच्चे भी बताएं.
बताना.
लास. क्या है स्पेलिंग? स्पेलिंग बताएंगे?
LASS.
Very good. LASS. That is the Scottish name for a girl. The singing is compared to which two birds? Singing of the girl is compared to two birds. Which all birds?
Nightingale.
Nightingale और एक और?
कुक्कू.
हाँ, आपका नाम बताइए बेटा.
पूजा करते.
Very good. बैठिए. So it is compared to two birds. What has been said about the nightingale? Nightingale के बारे में क्या बताया गया? कोई और बताएं? नाइटिंगेल के बारे में क्या बताया गया, बताइए. हाँ? That she soothes tired travelers. है ना, थके राहगीर को अपनी मधुर ध्वनियों से स्वागत करती है ना. हाँ, स्वागत करती है. What has been said about कुकू? कुकू किस ऋतु में गाती है? बताइए बेटा, किस ऋतु में गाती है? हाँ,
ऑटम.
क्या? नहीं, स्प्रिंग.
ऑटम.
नहीं बच्चे, ऑटम नहीं है. ऑटम तो पतझड़ है. स्प्रिंग जो है वो तो हरियाली खुशहाली जो ऋतु है ना. तो स्प्रिंग में गाती हैं. ऑटम में मैंने शब्द ऑटम कहा ही नहीं था, आप लोगों ने ऑटम कैसे बोल दिया. चलिए, व्हाट इज हेब्राइड्स? हेब्राइड्स किसको कहते हैं? हेब्राइड्स इज अ ग्रुप ऑफ आइलैंड्स, और वो उत्तरीय छोर है, विश्व का उत्तरीय छोर माना जाता है. इट इज द रिमोटेस्ट नॉर्दर्न लिमिट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. चलिए, थैंक यू फॉर द अटेंटिव लिसनिंग. Good day.